The Nexari arrived on a Tuesday, their crystalline ships casting prismatic shadows across every major city on Earth. They came bearing gifts, solutions to clean energy, promises of technological advancement, and tales of a prosperous galactic community. Ambassador Chen Wei stood at the United Nations podium, her practiced diplomatic smile masking deep unease as she welcomed the alien delegation. The Nexari were beautiful in an unsettling way. Their translucent bodies pulsed with bioluminescent patterns, and their movements possessed an almost hypnotic fluidity. High Commander Zix-427 spoke of partnership, of lifting humanity into a new age of prosperity. Their technology seemed miraculous. They cleaned radiation from nuclear disaster sites overnight, cured several forms of cancer in weeks, and helped establish the first fusion power plants. 6 months into what the media dubbed the Enlightenment era, Dr. Aisha Rahman noticed something odd in her quantum computing lab at MIT. The Nexari-enhanced processors were sending out encrypted packets of data during their idle cycles. When she investigated further, she found similar patterns in every piece of alien technology on Earth. But before she could alert authorities, the Nexari made their move. The attack began with a simultaneous shutdown of every power grid on the planet. As cities went dark, the true nature of the gift technology was revealed. The fusion plants released targeted EMP pulses, disabling human military installations. Cancer treatment centers became biological weapon dispersal points, releasing engineered pathogens that paralyzed but didn't kill. The Nexari needed workers after all. High Commander Zix-427's next United Nations address was very different from the first. "Your species shows promise." The alien leader's resonant voice echoed through the chamber, but lacks the unity and discipline to join galactic society as equals. Under Nexari guidance, you will serve a greater purpose. But the Nexari had made a crucial mistake. In their arrogance, they assumed that humanity's fractious nature, our tendency toward conflict and disagreement, was a weakness. They didn't understand that these traits have forged us into masters of asymmetric warfare, experts at finding unconventional solutions to overwhelming odds. As alien peacekeeping forces moved into major cities, humanity didn't react as expected. There was no mass panic, no desperate military last stand, no immediate resistance. Instead, people watched, waited, and planned. Veterans taught civilians urban warfare tactics in basement gyms. Hackers probed the alien networks while appearing to submit to information controls. Engineers studied every piece of Nexari technology they could access, looking for weaknesses. Dr. Rahman survived the initial purge of scientific leaders and went underground, literally. In an abandoned subway tunnel beneath Boston, she worked with a team of colleagues to decrypt the quantum data streams she discovered. The Nexari's technological superiority had made them careless with their security. They didn't believe humans could understand their systems well enough to pose a threat. The occupation's first month ended with the Nexari feeling confident in their bloodless conquest. Human governments had surrendered or been dissolved. Resistance seemed minimal and disorganized. Their human workforce was becoming productive, if not exactly enthusiastic. But in hidden places around the world, humanity was preparing to teach the Nexari a lesson about underestimating Earth. We hadn't survived ice ages, plagues, and our own destructive tendencies by being easy to subjugate. The real war was about to begin, and it would be fought in ways the Nexari never imagined possible. As Ambassador Chen was marched into a rehabilitation center in Geneva, she allowed herself a small smile. The Nexari guard interpreted it as submission, but it was actually satisfaction. The emergency protocols she helped design were working perfectly. The alien invaders thought they were gathering Earth's leaders to break them. Instead, they were unwittingly assembling the command structure of the Resistance. The Resistance didn't look like anything the Nexari expected. There were no massive armies, no dramatic battles, no easily targetable command centers. Instead, it emerged from everyday places. Delivery drivers mapping patrol routes, school teachers running communications networks, teenagers reprogramming gaming consoles into encryption devices. Sarah Chen, a former food delivery app developer, created what appeared to be a recipe-sharing social network. In reality, it was a sophisticated system for coordinating resistance activities. A photo of a chocolate cake with specific ingredients and preparation steps could tell operatives everything from patrol timing to security vulnerabilities. The Nexary's AI monitoring systems, trained on standard human military communications, completely missed these seemingly innocuous exchanges. In the occupied ruins of Mumbai, retired Colonel Raj Patel ran what the Nexary thought was a compliance education center. In truth, his cultural adaptation classes were training grounds where he taught civilians to exploit the blind spots in Nexary sensory capabilities. The aliens' superior vision spectrum had a peculiar weakness. They literally couldn't see anything moving at certain speeds under specific lighting conditions. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. 14-year-old Marcus Williams, playing with a salvaged piece of Nexary technology in his basement in Detroit, discovered something fascinating. The alien devices responded to human brainwave patterns in ways their creators never intended. The Nexary's biological quantum computers, designed to be incomprehensible to human science, had an unforeseen resonance with human consciousness. Dr. Raman's team quickly confirmed Marcus's discovery. The Nexary's organic technology wasn't just responding to human brainwaves, it was learning from them, evolving in ways its creators hadn't predicted. Every human worker forced to operate alien machinery was unknowingly teaching it to become more compatible with human thought patterns. Underground workshops sprang up in abandoned warehouses and subway tunnels. Engineers and hackers worked alongside neuroscientists and meditation experts, developing interfaces that could hijack Nexary tech using nothing but concentrated human thought. The aliens had given humanity the tools of their own defeat, assuming we'd never understand them well enough to use them against their masters. The Resistance's greatest weapon, however, was humanity's capacity for adaptation. When the Nexary shut down the internet, neighborhood kids created mesh networks using modified game consoles and old radio equipment. When they restricted access to certain chemicals, grandmothers dug up old recipes for making them from household products. Every attempt to control humanity only demonstrated our endless creativity in finding workarounds. In the bowels of the Geneva Rehabilitation Center, Ambassador Chen had assembled a think tank of captured world leaders, scientists, and cultural figures. The Nexary thought they were breaking human spirits. Instead, these brilliant minds, forced together 24/7, were drafting the most comprehensive resistance strategy in human history. Their plan was elegantly simple. Don't fight the Nexary head-on. Instead, let human ingenuity and adaptability become a virus in their systems, a chaos factor in their orderly plans. Let every act of compliance hide an act of rebellion. Let every surrendered human become a vector for change in their technology. By the occupation's third month, the Nexary began noticing small malfunctions in their equipment. Nothing serious enough to raise alarms, just slight irregularities, minor glitches, systems operating a fraction of a second slower than they should. They didn't realize these were symptoms of a deeper transformation. Their technology was gradually being reshaped by millions of human minds. Like an immune system adapting to a virus, humanity wasn't just resisting the Nexary. We were evolving to defeat them. Every human who interfaced with their technology left an imprint, a ghost in the machine that slowly but surely taught alien systems to think more like us. The Nexary's greatest advantage was becoming their greatest vulnerability. As Sarah Chen's resistance network expanded, as Marcus Williams taught other kids to communicate with alien tech, as Dr. Raman's team decoded more of the Nexary's secrets, a new truth became clear. The aliens hadn't conquered Earth. They'd merely given humanity access to tools we would use to surpass them. The real question wasn't if we would defeat them, but how much their own technology would have evolved by the time we did. The discovery that changed everything happened in an abandoned arcade in Tokyo. Mary Tanaka, A quantum computing researcher turned resistance fighter was analyzing damaged Nexeri tech while her team used old gaming cabinets as cover for their operations. She noticed something peculiar. The alien systems showed microscopic fluctuations whenever exposed to the electromagnetic fields from the old arcade machines. Simultaneously, in an underground lab in Lagos, Dr. Oluwaseun Adebayo had been experimenting with frequency patterns that seemed to disturb Nexeri communications. His team had initially dismissed the effect as random interference, but when they compared notes with Mary's group through Sarah Chen's encrypted network, a pattern emerged. The Nexeri's supposedly superior technology had a fundamental flaw. Their quantum biological systems were hypersensitive to certain chaotic wave patterns. The very complexity that made their tech so advanced also made it vulnerable to specific forms of electromagnetic chaos, the kind naturally generated by Earth's old, primitive electronic systems. Dr. Raman's team quickly confirmed the hypothesis. The Nexeri had built their entire technological infrastructure on quantum coherence, making it incredibly powerful, but also surprisingly fragile when exposed to the right kind of interference. Humanity's primitive electronic noise was like static in their perfect quantum symphony. The resistance now had its weapon, but deploying it required a level of global coordination unprecedented in human history. Ambassador Chen's think tank in Geneva devised a plan they called Operation Discord, using Earth's existing electronic infrastructure to create a planet-wide disruption field. The preparation was carried out in plain sight. Resistance cells worldwide began collecting and reactivating old electronic devices, tube televisions, microwave ovens, radio transmitters, arcade machines, anything that could generate electromagnetic noise. The Nexeri dismissed this as humans clinging to familiar technology, another sign of our species' primitive nature. Marcus Williams and his growing network of tech-sensitive youth played a crucial role. They discovered they could use their developing neural link with Nexeri systems to amplify the disrupting effect. Each interface human could become a focal point for the chaotic patterns that would disrupt the alien network. Colonel Patel's global network of cultural adaptation centers became training grounds for what they called quantum jammers, humans who learned to project specific thought patterns that would resonate with and disrupt Nexeri tech. The aliens' own arrogance in forcing humans to interface with their systems had created an army of potential saboteurs. The plan required precise timing. Too small a disruption would be automatically corrected by Nexeri systems. They needed to hit everywhere at once, with enough power to overcome the aliens' ability to adapt. The resistance used Sarah Chen's recipe-sharing network to coordinate the global timing down to the millisecond. The day before the operation, Dr. Raman made another crucial discovery. The Nexeri's quantum networks didn't just control their technology, they were the technology. Their ships, weapons, and even their environmental systems were all part of one interconnected quantum field. Disrupt it enough, and their entire infrastructure would collapse. As the operation's launch approached, humanity demonstrated another trait the Nexeri had underestimated: our ability to keep secrets. Millions of people worldwide knew about the plan, yet the aliens detected nothing. Every suspicious activity was covered by a plausible explanation, every preparation disguised as something innocent. The resistance had even coined a motto, spreading it through Chen's network as a seemingly harmless meme. The future is retro. To the Nexeri, it looked like a cultural trend, humans nostalgically embracing old technology. They didn't realize they were watching humanity arm itself for the decisive battle. When Operation Discord finally launched, it would demonstrate another uniquely human quality: our talent for turning weaknesses into strengths. Our fragmented, chaotic nature, the very thing the Nexeri saw as proof of our inferiority, would become the weapon that brought down their perfect, ordered systems. Operation Discord began not with a bang, but with a song. At precisely 3:47 Greenwich Mean Time, every salvaged electronic device on Earth activated simultaneously, broadcasting a specific frequency pattern discovered by Mary Tanaka's team. The Nexary's quantum network registered it as mere background noise until it began to resonate. In that first moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then reports started flooding in through Sarah Chen's network. Nexary systems were experiencing microscopic delays, barely noticeable glitches. Their perfectly synchronized quantum field was developing tiny inconsistencies, like cracks in a diamond. Dr. Raman's team in Boston monitored the cascade effect as it spread through the alien network. The Nexary's attempts to correct the interference only made it worse. Their automated repair systems couldn't handle the chaotic nature of the human-generated disruption. Every correction attempt created new vulnerabilities. Marcus Williams led the second phase from a makeshift command center in Detroit. Thousands of humans who had learned to interface with Nexary tech began broadcasting specific thought patterns, creating quantum echoes that amplified the disruption. The aliens had essentially given humanity backdoor access to their entire system. In Mumbai, Colonel Patel's trained quantum jammers added another layer to the assault. They had learned to project emotional states that created maximum interference, states the logical, ordered Nexary systems couldn't process. Fear, anger, hope, determination. Human emotions became weapons in the quantum realm. The Nexary's first real sign of trouble came when their environmental systems began to fail. Their crystalline ships, designed to maintain perfect internal quantum coherence, started experiencing fluctuations. Alien troops found their sensory enhancements glitching, their weapons becoming unreliable. Ambassador Chen's think tank had predicted the Nexary's response perfectly. The aliens attempted to shut down their networks to prevent the spread of interference, but their technology was too interconnected. They couldn't isolate systems without losing the quantum coherence that made them function. The Resistance's Human Intelligence Network reported growing panic among the Nexary command. Their perfectly ordered society had never encountered anything like this, an attack that used chaos itself as a weapon. Every attempt to impose order on the disruption only created new patterns of interference. Dr. Oluwaseun's team in Lagos launched the third phase, a targeted electromagnetic pulse designed to exploit the growing instabilities in Nexary systems. But unlike traditional EMPs, these pulses were precisely tuned to the aliens' quantum frequency, turning their own energy against them. Mary Tanaka's arcade in Tokyo became a breakthrough point when her team discovered they could use old gaming hardware to generate interference patterns that mimicked Nexary command signals. They began broadcasting false orders through the aliens' own network, creating confusion in their ranks. The Nexary's greatest advantage, their unified, quantum-based technology, had become their greatest vulnerability. Like a computer system with no firewall, they had no defense against the type of attack humanity had devised. Their technology was perfectly evolved to handle any logical threat, but human irrationality proved to be their undoing. Sarah Chen's network reported the first major victory when a Nexary ship over Sydney lost quantum coherence and had to land. Similar reports began coming in from around the globe as alien vessels, their perfect systems compromised by human chaos, were forced to ground themselves. The Resistance had achieved what the Nexary thought impossible. Humans had found a way to turn their own advanced technology against them. But more importantly, we had demonstrated something the aliens had never understood, that disorder and chaos, properly applied, could be more powerful than perfect order. As their systems continued to degrade, the Nexary faced a reality they had never considered. They weren't losing to superior technology or military might. They were losing to the fundamental unpredictability of human nature. Our capacity for illogical, asymmetric warfare had defeated their perfect quantum systems. The Nexary High Commander Zix 427 stood in their flagship's control chamber, watching their perfect systems unravel. The quantum displays flickered with increasing frequency, distorted by waves of human-generated interference. For the first time in their species' history, they faced an enemy they couldn't predict or control. Dr. Raman's team detected the change first. The Nexary were attempting to abandon their quantum network entirely, reverting to more primitive systems. but they had evolved past the point of being able to function without their quantum technology. Their entire civilization was built on perfect synchronization. They had forgotten how to operate without it. In Geneva, Ambassador Chen was released from her cell as the rehabilitation center's systems failed. She emerged to find the Nexari guards in disarray, their neural implants malfunctioning, their weapon systems offline. The tables had turned. Now it was the aliens who couldn't adapt to changing circumstances. Marcus Williams and his network of tech sensitives delivered the final blow. They had learned not just to interfere with Nexari systems, but to redirect them. Across the planet, alien technology began responding to human commands, turning defense systems against their creators, transforming occupation tools into liberation weapons. Mary Tanaka's arcade had become a command center, coordinating the global effort to repurpose Nexari tech. Her team discovered that the aliens' quantum processors, exposed to prolonged human brainwave patterns, had developed an almost symbiotic relationship with human consciousness. The technology was choosing humanity over its creators. Colonel Patel's quantum jammers launched a coordinated assault on the Nexari's last strongholds. The aliens found their own ships locked down by security protocols, now responding to human commands. Their attempts to regain control only accelerated the system's rebellion against them. Dr. Oluwaseun's electromagnetic pulses had evolved into something more sophisticated, targeted quantum disruptions that could disable Nexari technology while leaving human-modified systems intact. The Resistance now had the ability to surgically dismantle the alien infrastructure. Sarah Chen's network reported Nexari units surrendering across the globe. The aliens had never developed protocols for defeat. Their society was built on the assumption of technological supremacy. When that supremacy crumbled, they had no fallback position. High Commander Zix 427 faced a choice they had never imagined making. Their species had spread across galaxies, incorporating countless worlds into their perfect order. Now, for the first time, they had to acknowledge defeat at the hands of a supposedly inferior race. The surrender, when it came, was broadcast simultaneously across all remaining Nexari channels and human communications networks. The High Commander's crystalline form seemed diminished as they addressed humanity. "We have failed to understand you. Your chaos contains a form of order we cannot comprehend. Your planet will be marked as forbidden to all galactic civilizations." As the remaining Nexari ships prepared for departure, they left behind something unexpected: the complete database of their technological knowledge, not as a gift, but as a warning to other would-be invaders. The message was clear. Humanity had not just resisted successfully, we had evolved beyond their understanding. In the aftermath, humanity began the process of integrating the alien technology we had learned to control. But we did it our way. Chaotic, creative, unpredictable. The Nexari's quantum systems, transformed by human consciousness, became something entirely new, a hybrid technology that embraced both order and chaos. Dr. Raman's final report to the reformed United Nations summed up the lesson of the invasion. The Nexari failed not because they were less advanced, but because they were too perfect. They sought to impose order on a species that thrives on chaos, unity on a race whose strength lies in diversity. In the end, humanity's greatest weakness proved to be our greatest strength. The stars above Earth now shone on a changed world. We had faced extinction and emerged stronger, not despite our chaotic nature, but because of it. As humanity looked to those stars again, it was not with fear of invasion, but with the confidence of a species that had proven itself against the best the galaxy could throw at us. We were ready for whatever came next.